Visit me back with another video. As you'll see by the thumbnail title, we got to Miss Jasmine Crockett. As always, I always try my best to find Miss Jasmine Crockett interviews or something like that so we can react to it because I know how much I love her. So let's get right into the video. Let's go.
All right, before the break, I told you about the dangerous history of a current Republican lie about abortion. It's a subject with which my next guest, the Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas, is very familiar. Remember, the case for Roe v. Wade in the 1970s began in Texas and in Representative Crockett's current district. Decades later, Texas dismantled that progress by becoming the first state to successfully impose a near-total ban on abortion months before the Dobbs decision was handed down. When Representative Crockett was a state representative, she was directly involved in fighting Texas's draconian abortion laws. Congresswoman Crockett herself joins me now to talk about this and more. Congresswoman, thanks for being here. Lots of things about that debate surprised me, including the brazen lie about this and, of course, people eating pets. But it is effective. Donald Trump says this stuff, and we can prove all we want. I took 8 minutes there to prove that that's not true, but it works for some people.
It does. It's really frustrating because we have to fight so many just flat out lies. I think we've been talking about misinformation and disinformation. He knows he's lying. And I appreciate those in social media that have decided to literally make a mockery of him. I mean, there were so many memes that came out and said, on that debate stage, we saw a man be aborted 73 years after he was born, right? It just doesn't happen. We have laws for that. But unfortunately, it reminds me of just kind of the ignorance that typically leads the Republican Party. We know that at some time there was justification for slavery because they didn't truly understand what, quote unquote, was making us different or whatever their justifications were. But it's this idea of if I don't understand something, then I'm then just going to lash out against it. Same thing with our LGBTQIA community. And so that is one reason that as I've hit the trail, I was in Ohio as Ohio was trying to pass their issue, and it did pass, even though they put all of these different obstacles in front of it. I said, this isn't about whether or not you agree with abortion.
Right.
And I want people to be comfortable with saying, I don't necessarily agree with abortion, but if you believe in...
Before she continues, y'all let me know. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Yeah, let me know if y'all agree with the abortion laws, y'all. I don't agree with it. Let me keep it 100. I feel like y'all could do whatever y'all. Oh my God, Nala. I feel like y'all can do whatever y'all want with your bodies. I feel like, if that's something you want to do, then do it. That's up to y'all. Y'all gonna have to live with it. It's okay. Y'all gonna have to live with what y'all did, and I get it. But I don't agree. I don't feel like that should be a law. Y'all should be able to do what y'all want with y'all body, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and subscribe to the channel, and comment, y'all, and watch every video I post. Every video means something. Every video I post for a reason. It got something to do with right now. So don't be afraid to click on these videos and watch these videos to get educated like I am. So let's get right back into it, Miss Jasmine.
I don't necessarily agree with abortion, but if you believe in freedom, then you should absolutely be on this bandwagon, because I'm not asking you to judge me or to make decisions for me and my body that me and my doctor are going to make. But at some point in time, there is some freedom that you hold dear that there will be license to go after. And so until you understand that all of these freedoms are inextricably linked, then you will never understand that we are all actually under attack. And that's what we see when we look at the LGBTQIA community, when we see the attacks on our history, when we see the attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is all linked. And when you look at organizations such as the Heritage Foundation, you can see they are a common thread in all of it.
And let's be clear, you are a legislator, you're a United States member of Congress, and yet you and I have different rights over our own bodies. I have greater rights over my bodily autonomy than you as a member of the United States Congress have right now as we speak.
That's absolutely right. And Ali, what is also very frustrating is that people don't understand the economic implications as well, right? Educational implications. I've talked to mothers that have said, you know what, I thought that maybe I shouldn't send my child to go to school down in Texas.
Yes.
That was something that I hadn't even thought about, right?
Yep.
And so we're looking at potential schools like the Baylors and UTs not necessarily having some of the greatest talent that they could have, because we know that there's always been a rape culture on college campuses as well, right? And we know specifically in Texas that they ended up with about 26,000 pregnancies as a result of rape since the overturning of Roe, since the overturning of Roe. So like it's the fact that not only are you reducing access to abortion, but you're reducing access to economic opportunities, because if you don't have the educational opportunities, then you're potentially not going to be able to maximize your economic opportunities. But more importantly than that, what they're seeing is a trend in a state like Texas that doesn't want me to have rights over my body. They also don't believe in labor rights, right? So, I mean, it's like you don't really have that many protections if you do get pregnant. So I need people to understand that the implications of this are so much greater. And while you may not agree with the decisions that a person makes over their body, just understand that this really is about freedom.
It's not your decisions, it's their decisions. The fight for reproductive rights, however, has had the effect of energizing a lot of voters. We saw Kate Cox from Dallas, who spoke out after being denied emergency abortion care. She was featured at the DNC. 10 states now have abortion on the ballot this election. Texas, unfortunately, is not included on that list. How do voters galvanize other voters on this issue? Because this may be, and there are a lot of really important issues in this election, this may be the most important, because it is really a referendum across the country on, do we have the same rights or do we not have the same rights?
You know, this is a really good question, because I honestly was very nervous that after the Dobbs decision came out, that basically everybody would just kind of be like, oh, well, they took our rights, and then it would be over with. But what we've seen is an overperformance specifically for Democrats, and we've also seen every single state that this ballot initiative was actually on the ballot. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to put things on the ballot that we want in Texas in this way. And so we've seen these ballot measures pass even in spaces that are considered to be red states. And so what we know is that this is actually a bipartisan issue. We understand that, you know what, this is a problem, and this is the biggest form of government that we've ever seen. The type of government that decides to delve into my doctor's room as well as into my uterus. Like, stay out. I don't want the government there, right? But, you know, one of the points that I made in one of my hearings that we had on this issue was, I was like, do we need to start talking about Viagra? Like, do we need to start figuring out what we're going to do on that?
Well,
like,
that
maybe that's what it takes.
Yeah, maybe that's what it takes.
For people to understand. No, seriously. Exactly, because it's like, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about, you know, but nevertheless, I do think that this is going to hurt them. We saw in the midterms that Democrats overperformed. We were supposed to get swept out of the House. Now, granted, we ended up getting kicked out the House, but we didn't get swept out the House. And I think that they are going to see a similar type of backlash, especially in Florida, where they decided that they wanted to do things like, well, let's raise the thresholds. So now the threshold is 60%. And so they have abortion as well as marijuana on the ballot. I think that those potentially will be galvanizing issues that hopefully may end up getting us a new senator in the state of Florida. So, you know, I do think that the Republicans understand that this is a problem. This is why they decided that they were going to pull the national abortion ban out of their platform after it's sitting there for 40 years. They decided to pull it out because they are losing every time they talk about it. And you see Donald Trump, he can't give you a good answer. He doesn't have an answer, which tells you everything you need to know, America. He will sign the abortion ban.
Yeah, and for those, because I don't want to make anybody read this nonsense, but it's 922 pages, and there is a plan here to make sure that those women in this country who still have some access to abortion and reproductive care are not going to get it. Congresswoman, good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us. The Democratic Congresswoman from Texas, Jasmine Crockett. We'll be right back.
The fact that it's that many pages, they're really trying to take women rights like that. That shit is crazy as hell, man. I don't know what to say. There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. It's pathetic. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. I got way more videos to do. I gotta get up out of here, y'all. I love y'all so much, y'all. Make sure y'all watch every video that I post. It's important to watch every video. It always has something in it that you should know every single day, just like I should know. I appreciate y'all support. Stay locked in till we get to 1 million subscribers, y'all, and we're gonna keep going after that. I love y'all. Peace and love, baby, and we out.